Okay, welcome everyone. I'm here with Brad Smith, Zoran Bazdar, Kevin Kuypers, and Lyndon Savanto, three of whom are legendary Wanderers members, and one who is here to help me co-host.
I think I played a couple games with the Wanderers at some point. I feel like I did. I don't know.
How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing with all this COVID and all this stuff? No playing sports or coaching or anything.
Sucks.
Sucks, eh?
Sucks.
It's slow, long, cold winter.
Just stuck at home, eh? You have to see your family all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah. a little too much of that, but actually got the body healthy and feeling good. And I was actually looking forward to playing some ball this year. So I was really disappointed when that got canceled.
Yeah.
Would have lasted, 5 minutes, but that would have been best 5 minutes.
But what a 5 minutes.
Yeah. You know it's going to be a good hard run 5 minutes. I can't wait till next year. You're playing next year, are you?
We'll try my
All right,
best.
well, that might be
5
one of the
minutes.
questions.
We all play 5 minutes.
Let's get started off just really early here. How did the three of you first even hear about handball? I mean, I know Zoran that you played in Serbia, but Brad and Kevin, when did you guys pick it up?
For me, I was I was living in Fox Creek, and small town, and I was really quite lucky that my vice principal was played handball, actually very competitive handball for Alberta. His team actually won 3 national championships and actually were 2 goals away from qualifying. They lost to the United States in the qualifier in '72 to go to Munich, to go to the Olympics. So he was coached by Julius Fedor. And so for me, it was school. I was grade 9 at the time. And it was just a sport. There was a sport, something new. And I wasn't playing any sports. I actually had to beg him to let me try out or play on for the senior, because it was a high school team.
Really?
Yeah. And I had to make like all kinds of promises, to quit being such a jackass in school and such, to let me play. And so we started this team, and there was no league, there was no nothing. And I just remember we took a weekend trip to Edmonton, and we played the junior team, the Alberta junior team, and I had no idea who it was. I just remember getting pretty sure the score was 33-3 type of thing, the score. So that was my introduction to handball. From then,
it's amazing you stuck through it.
Yeah, no, it was good though. I loved it. And then a year later, we played. We were Zone 8 for Winter Games, Alberta Winter Games.
Yeah.
We got to travel to Lloydminster, so that was like a big road trip for us little small town guys. And
that's fun. Hey, that's what always drags us in.
It was. Got to play against a team like Calgary, and I remember we lost to them only by a goal. And I still remember thinking, "Oh, guys, we were great. Like, we lost to Calgary. They got a city of 1 million people, and we have like 2,000." So, but didn't quite realize not everyone in Calgary played handball. So yeah, so then just from there, just kept at it and got lucky enough to got asked to try out for the provincial team, the junior team, and the rest is history.
How about yourself, Brad?
Well, I was, this goes back, it was spring of '83. I was in my grad year at Bonnie Doon, and we had just come off an undefeated season of 4A volleyball. And a guy by the name of Steve Jorgensen walked into our gym with a couple other guys, Keith Kendricks, and I think Schubert might have been still around at the time. And we were, just farting around, but there were some rugby guys and some football guys and some volleyball, basketball guys who all had some good out of the room springs. And he said, "Boys, it's time for you to consider this game." And 4 or 5 months later, I was, I think, in Moncton playing at a junior nationals representing Alberta.
Yeah.
And, we didn't know much about the game, but, and we got our asses handed to us, so to speak. And there's the little bell should have gone off because I'm using the word, but, and after that, we just kept going. It snowballed and met a bunch of amazing people over the years, and the rest is history.
That's how it goes. How about you, Zoe? How was it in Serbia?
Actually, just a correction for a second. Actually, I was born and raised in Croatia.
Oh,
I
sorry.
was today in Croatia, and I spent my first 18, 19 years in Croatia. I played my comprehensive school, my high school club there, and I played for junior team and juvenile team of Croatia, actually, while it was still Yugoslavia. And then after the breakup, I was in Serbia for about 2.5, 3 years when I played professional, and then I came to Canada to meet this beautiful gentleman, and then we started this gong show called Wanderers.
How did you guys start the Wanderers then?
So handball was kind of really when we didn't have much of a league going on, and you could just sort of see how it was just dying. And we were all kind of tasked to go out and bring a team or try and make a team to bring more players in. And for my team, I was playing flag football, and so I brought my flag football team in, but I just brought the Hoggies, the O-line guys, and so we had a team called the Gamecocks, and we're all like, 200 pounds plus. So we had 6 pivots basically, and that was it. So then we played that. We had that team for a while, and then one of our buddies who was playing, Mike Garner, that Brad and I, we all grew up playing together. We wanted to make a little more of a club, and we wanted to bring the girls in and try and get like a junior program going. Just wanted to grow it a little more. So Mike kind of spearheaded that. And so we did have the girls for a little bit. It just didn't pan out. It didn't work out as far as that. But so that's basically how we got started. And then the Wanderers name, like, it's funny, we were talking about this and we phoned them up yesterday to confirm, but everyone kind of thought it was some sort of soccer club or came from something like that.
God forbid.
It actually came from a 1979 movie, just a New York Bronx gang movie, and that's what he said. He liked the name, and that's how we got started. The rest is history.
Unreal.
The relief of the whole thing, trust me, I didn't know for like 25 years.
So
and I was there.
Were you guys always just good friends, or was it like ups and downs when you guys played? Was there ever any drama, or was it just, no, we're meshed instantly, like we're all good, we're a team and we know what we have to do?
Well,
go ahead. You take her.
Well, no, it's like any other big extended family, you know. We and also a bunch of alpha males who were as athletically attuned to each other as we were socially attuned to each other. And we had our moments, but again, that lasted about as long as whatever the situation was, mostly on the court. And then we would go break bread and then have a pop, and we'd be done and moving on and waiting for the next game. So I can say every relationship we've had has always been in its ascendancy all the time, slowly sometimes, faster other times, but it's been extremely rewarding and very interesting. There's never a dull moment.
Yeah, I remember whenever we'd play you guys were always like the hottest headed, or like, I know someone's getting a 2, or someone's going to get into like a little like scuffle, or someone's getting a red card. So, I was always wondering, like, what are you guys like together? Is it like still battling all the time, or is it just
all the time, but with a smile on our face? Or I think that's why we have been together and still are for such a long time, that realistically handball was just one of the things we do together, and it happened to be the main thing, but it's definitely not the only thing. And our relationship go way beyond the court, not just now, but have gone for a long time. And I guess that is the point of the club. That's the word. It's not about sport. It's about the group. It's about a club. It's about the institution that we like and keep alive.
Awesome. What do you guys think? Like, what was your guys' favorite Wanderers like memory, or something you have in your head that you'll never forget from either like a game or a practice, or it doesn't even matter, just as like a club?
Mine, I thought about this, and it wasn't like any wasn't like any certain victory or any championship, but the memory that I like the most, or that I remember the most, is after we'd win a championship or lose, didn't really matter to us, but we would hook up at our buddy's restaurant, Igor's at Zavelli's, and we'd go there, and it's always usually a Sunday night because that's when the games were over, and he would whip up some crazy great food for us, and we always all went. The whole team went. Everybody, all the time. Even if it was just some people could only stay for one beer. So unfortunately, some of us stayed for a lot more than that. But that's what I liked about our team the most, is that it didn't matter win, lose. We would always go as a team, hook up, like Brad said, break bread, have some beers, digest the game, dissect the game, talk, and just have a great time. It wasn't always just about the handball. So and I noticed other teams not doing that. Even, I can remember when Danza was beating us and they'd win. We'd still go and party and enjoy. Yeah. And they would all pat each other on the back, congratulate each other. And I just saw teams go different directions. And it's just, it always struck me as odd why they didn't have this, this brotherhood is more what I kind of thought it was with us. So that's my favorite thing, was going after the Igor's.
How about you, Brad or Zoe?
Well,
Bradley, go ahead.
I got, one athletic one and one, personal one, just real quick. And I don't remember the year, but I remember we used to play tournaments down at the Lindsay Sports Park in Calgary, that it was always so damn humid in there, and we'd play and lose so much bloody water. But I remember us winning probably 5 games in 2.5 days or whatever. And remembering being down on one knee as the last whistle went, and I'm done, spent like ready to pass out because of the humidity and everything else. And I thought, Jesus, the boys are going to be on me about this one. But I remember, and I forget who we even played, but picking my head up and looking around our end of the gym, and every one of my men is in the same state, but we won and we were done. And we just each looked up from our knees and kind of smiled and went, all right, we'll fight tomorrow. And the other one's a mushy one. It was my wedding. One of the best handball games ever played was in a pool on the beach in Puerto Vallarta with my men. And that was cool.
Really?
That sounds amazing.
It does sound amazing. How about you, Zoe?
I have very hard time picking, honestly, because there's been so many great moments. I would not be part of this if it wasn't great all the time. And I'm probably and you guys know that from playing coaching, I'm probably the most assertive when it comes, and most sensitive to what we do around and why we are around and whatnot. Like I have, it's an OCD handball type of stuff, right? So we have to separate what happens on the floor. So my club best memories on the floor, we played lots of league games and whatnot, but City of Champions tournaments with some fantastic teams that we played against, and some people that came on our club, and people always wanted to come and play with us. And Lyndon mentioned that nobody ever had problem adjusting. And I felt that that's really a reward and a privilege to have everybody else wanting to be part of it, at least for that little while. So to me, that really kind of meant that we're doing a good job, that we're looking as a good group, that we're good guys. And, then nothing was hard or too much to do for those people. So yeah, I can't take one specific one out. It's been so many of them, but that, as Brad said, that level of competition where it's like, all out, balls out, totally 100%, big fight, nerves, everything. And then once you are done, like you feel so great because you're surrounded with so many great guys to share that with. So to me, that's overall the feeling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I have a question regarding to, well, basically, I know ever since I joined the league, you guys have always been a tough team to beat. It doesn't matter if we were 20 years younger than you or not, and it doesn't matter how old you guys were. And if you couldn't even play, like Kuyper said, 5 minutes, but it's always a hell of a game. But how did you guys manage to stay so competitive at an age where it's kind of tough. People retire like 10 years before you guys.
Well,
Kipes talked about
that's easy. That's old man strength.
I've seen that old man strength against my teammates sometimes. So
Yeah, old man strength, no fast breaks, and no running. The Wanderers never did anything fast. So
energy conservation
and that.
Yeah.
No, and we relied heavy on our goalies. Fact is, we never came back on defense. We just let them go. And we had some great goalies on our teams. I believe the first goalie was Brian Wag, and I think his son. I'm sorry, I don't remember his son's name.
Max,
yeah.
Really?
So Brian,
really
Max's dad played for us. So he was one of our first goalies, and then we had three beauties in Eddie Acevedo and Uva and Rich Real, and we just, like I said, we just hung those poor boys out to dry. That's great. Yeah, okay. And I still remember the most classiest one was Eddie. And Eddie, if you knew Eddie, I mean, this guy wouldn't say shit if his mouth was full of it. He was just, quiet, nothing. And I know I'm getting in trouble for swearing on here, but he just said one time he just got so mad at us and he just yelled and he said something like, "Hey, you female dogs, bitches, play some blankety blank defense for once in your life." And like, I'm looking at Zoran's looking at Brad, we're all looking at each other like, who the hell was that? And then again, he had to kick it up a notch. So no, I just believe we just kind of played at our own speed and just loved playing the game. We just loved being around each other. So whether it hurt or not, it always hurt, but it was just worth it just to hang with the boys.
Yeah. Well, you guys were so smart, like the way you played. Like you guys always had, like it was way more technical and tactics rather than just like relying on old man strength, like you said. Like you guys are always doing like movement and cross court passes and skipping to the wing and alley-oops, and like you guys still have it.
Like for us, like playing against you guys for years, the whole time I've played handball, I've played against the Wanderers, and you could see just the experience break down my teams that were much younger, where it's like, oh yeah, we might be fast, but then some pass happens, our defense gets destroyed, and like it was one thing that we always like, man, one day we're gonna be the Wanderers, like Bryn and Shaq and us. We're like, we're gonna be the Wanderers one day, and then we were.
Lyndon, you're right, 100%. But for somebody to be, and I'm not saying because it's us, but to have longevity, you have to have staying power. People have to stay together first as a group, then through the sport. We had so many generations, we can talk about that we have brought up excellent results, but they faded away as a group. I don't think the sport is the only thing that can keep you around for a long time. And there is another thing, to answer Dushan's question from before, this is my opinion about it, and I try to, if not tell, then show that type of attitude. We never, in my mind, have lost the game. This is totally phrased. It's like Vince Lombardi. We just sometimes ran out of time.
Yeah.
That's 100%. I will tell you today, if we go play tomorrow in 5 minutes, same attitude. I don't think you're going to beat me ever or my team. Like 100,000,000%. It may happen, but that's not going to cross my mind for like half a second. Zero fear.
And that's how you got to play. I think like that's the best way to look at it, because I think that's how Kobe played basketball, to be honest, and everybody knows what kind of a worker and mentality he had. But yeah, thank you about that. Linda, do you have any questions you want to ask maybe?
I was curious, kind of, what did it feel like for you guys when a new generation of like the Alberta program would come up? So it'd be like, go to like Dan Devlin and those guys, or then my generation come up. Was it like, we're going to show these guys a lesson or show why we've been successful for so long? Was there an extra, say, motivation when you play the upcoming generation?
I liked it. And I was just amazed on how good everybody was and how good you guys were at such a young age. That just blew me away, because you guys are so lucky that you had such better coaching. Like we had good coaches, but we didn't have good technique. Like nobody taught us, Brad or myself. I don't know with Zoran, but we never got taught the proper technique in certain foot work and all that. We were just raw and learned it on our own. And so when I would look down the court and see the next wave come, like the Dan Devlins and then your guys as Nami Ash and all those guys, I mean, they just learned so fast and they were so good, so young. I always was up for it. I loved it. You know, it's always good playing against better players or tougher competition is always better for me anyways. Brad?
No, it was, it wasn't awe, but it was respect, again, for what Kev said, that talent had the inputs of the coaching and the teaching of the technique so early on. You know, I was 18 when I started, and it was like, here's a ball, you can jump and throw it as hard as you can because you're a center fielder in fastball. Okay. I was known as the 10 brick guy because 10 bricks up from the crossbar. That was my first little while in handball. Because
me and you have a lot in common, Brad.
I didn't know. But when Kevin and I traveled to Europe a little bit, we got a little exposure there. Kevin and I were talking about this last night and saying, you know, when we flew back, we joined the Alberta team it was in LA for some damn tournament. And Gary Stin probably paid me one of the best compliments I ever had in handball. And he just said, where did you learn to throw that quick? I said, what are you talking about? Well, just going with these guys and just even the little bit of amount of training we got, it was just the little thing, the release. And he goes, oh yeah, you guys are different than when you left. You're different that you came back. So yeah, just the talent base and the guys showing skills that it was always a respect thing. But, you know, we were stubborn and we just said, yeah, but they got to keep doing it. And they got to just, you know, push. Having, you know, little side story, having a chat with one of the young men of one of the generations and saying, well, you are that good. You've got the potential, but you can't turn the switch on 100% when you go to nationals and to the national team and achieve a level and then come back to league and play us and turn it down to 80. No, my friend, you've now set a new floor for yourself. And I thought that was where things got turned up in Edmonton and in Alberta for sure, because the training was such that the talents figured out that, yeah, you can't come home and turn your bench, your floor level of performance down. That was now the minimum. And that's where Alberta just accelerated after that.
I'll just add one little thing, guys, particularly for the younger generations. Mike and I had this podcast about a couple of months almost ago, or a month and a half, and the similar question got asked, like, what did I think when I came to Canada and all that? These young generations became our development strategy, actually. First generation that I coached was the generation of Mike and Kelly and Steve Bennett and Rich Newman and Eddie and Asavita and those guys and a whole bunch of other people. Later on, some became the teammates of ours, some of them, Tom, Jesse. And in general, there was an idea that how do we do development? We never wanted to coach and poach people, particularly of the younger generations. We wanted them to go into competitive clubs, become clubs, to create a competition for us, to create a legitimate league, legitimate level of handball. And we stuck around exactly for that reason, to provide you guys with the competition and learning, because there was no excuse that if you cannot beat us, you had no business saying, I'm going to go out there and beat somebody else. So we were the fact-checking unit for everybody. So any which way you put it, we're not going to let you go by. If you can't earn it at home, you should not feel comfortable and confident going anywhere else. So I think that was the biggest merit and a value from us staying around for as long as we did.
We always learn something after playing you guys. Like after every game, there's always something. Like you either learn how to keep your space because these guys hit way harder than the other teams, or how to shoot from farther, and you guys would always coach in game. I know Zoe, like, I remember I played against you guys and I skied it like Brad. I'd be like 10 bricks, and every time I'm skying it. And you're telling me, hey, like next time you come, like make sure you're snapping the ball here, just follow through. And I remember the next shot I took, I followed through and I scored. I was like, gotta remember to follow through every single time.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the point.
But I forgot like a day later.
Hey, come play again and I'll tell you the same thing.
Will.
Next
I'm excited.
Don't worry.
I can't wait.
It was kind of similar for me, like as a goalie perspective, but you guys would always teach me after the fact you scored and be like, hey, that's terrible technique. And then you just made me look like an idiot. And it's like, well, tell me that before and then I can do it. But no, it was always a challenge playing you guys, because coming up, like your technique was different, your style was way different. And it was when we started, like for myself and my generation, when we started getting more competitive with you guys after getting destroyed, we're like, okay, we're going to beat the Wanderers. We can go up, we can do something. And eventually we would get up and have great games and stuff. But it was like, we're not going to do anything at nationals if we can't do anything in our league or do anything in our trainings and stuff. So for that, I mean, we all of us from my generation, at least, we owe you guys a thank you, because you taught everybody something. So thanks.
Agreed. Thank you.
welcome. It was
I'm
fun.
sure I speak for everyone that's on, like, that played Alberta. They all think the same things. Do you guys have any future plans though for handball? Like, even if it's not playing, like coaching or something like high school or just coaching club or any kind of development?
I've enjoyed helping coaching, being an assistant coach. I did some with Doug Bennett there, with Lyndon, of course, and yourself.
Mhm.
And you know, I enjoyed that. So I would do something like that again. Again, I don't have any real knowledge in it or taken to any courses, like, but I just go off of just, you know, experience, I guess.
You
But
have a lot of experience. I'm sure you could be a great coach.
I do enjoy it. So yeah, but I still want to play. And, you know, one of my biggest hopes is that I want to play a game against my son and I want to play a game with him. So unfortunately, we're just about had the against thing, because the day before, I think it was, that the league got canceled. We were supposed to play that weekend, and he was the first team that we were going to play against. So I was looking forward to having some fun.
Yeah, you got to stick around at least one more year, so at least that happens.
Well, this one doesn't count anyway, so.
Doesn't count. No. And I didn't hurt my body at all this year, so nothing.
Extra year of recovery. How about you, Brad? You got any future plans?
Well, I've always been fascinated, and Zoe and I have had these chats. It's the game of handball has progressed so much that my past couple efforts have been just based on gut and experience. And the boys know the 1 year I got hurt and coached in Sherbrooke, and that was a humbling experience at the end of the day, because if you don't have all of the knowledge and all of the technical skills as a coach, and you want, like, we're alphas, so we want to be at the highest level of coaching, and, you know, at least in Alberta, it's hard and there's no mistaking that. So gaining more technical stuff, if I was going to get back and do some stuff, you know, outside of, you know, watching Zoran coach is fabulous. But again, we're all alphas, so you want to have your own way sometimes. But I would have to take more courses and more upgrading, because my innate knowledge and my training stuff in other sports, the way the game is now, isn't enough. It really isn't. So would like to stay involved, but yeah, I'd have to upgrade.
Did you think about high school though? Because that's like a lot of the people that come to play high school, a lot of schools, like they have zero handball experience, and someone with experience such as yourself would for sure be able to add to their like knowledge.
Maybe been there before, and Tommy and I did some stuff up. Tom Zellish, we used to do some stuff up at Queenie, but way back in the day. But
right.
Yeah, anything's open.
How about you, Zoe?
Again, I'll bring that podcast from before so that I don't contradict myself. I said to Mike, in general in life, I wish that I could, I'm not saying afford, but time-wise afford. I'd rather do handball than many other things in life, most of the things in life. From that standpoint, that never goes away from me, that's for sure. Now, that all will depend absolutely on my time, business, family, and all that stuff. But my oldest son, Luca, is playing handball. He's 12. He played in U13, U16, U19 stuff. So by being with him, I'm already there. So through some proxy arrangement, to that situation, something's going to happen. Am I going to take more responsibility? That doesn't depend only on me. That depends on the circumstances. And I've had conversations with people, everything from local coaching to national teams coaching, even now. And but we have to let this pandemic sort itself out so that our handball schedules, that we can plan something with a little bit more certainty, because it is very hard to say what I can do if I don't know the timeline and the timetable. Professionally, that's just not possible at this point in time. Desire is always there, obviously, but it has to be practical. And I think that people that teach, particularly for our sport, that has to keep reinventing itself and filling the ranks all the time, is absolutely number one priority. Said that in the previous podcast as well. I think build the builders is the number one priority. We're not going to be able to buy them. We're not be able to imagine them. We have to build them. We have to create them. And that's why all our organizations and efforts have to be directed towards creating those that create.
If there was like a U18 or U19 club, would you guys be thinking maybe of putting in like a Wanderers? Like now, well, Colton's growing up, Luca's growing up, like you guys could get 2.0. Yeah. Like, do you think about maybe starting up a U18 club for the kids or something?
If you're asking any day, sure, absolutely. But then again, the circumstances, the zoning, we live in different places. Like if we'd have to, like I personally would have nothing better to do than slap this jersey on some young kids. Yeah. That would be like, I do not want to put this club to non-existence. We have the club. Hey, we play ping pong nowadays competitively against each other and with each other until waiting for Handball to come along. We have to do something under this crest. So yeah, anytime, like if we have an opportunity, yeah, why not? Why not do it for ourselves? Like we've done well over the years for everybody else. Why wouldn't we do it for us?
Okay.
I had a question with the young guys coming up, your kids and stuff. Is it hard to maybe sit back and not be like, you have to do this or you should do this? Like, I feel for myself, I'd be like, oh, why is he doing that? And it's like that hockey dad mentality where you're like yelling like, oh, pass the ball. Is it hard to kind of like let them, do their game, listen to their coaches and do that stuff? Or
for me, it's not too bad because Colton he's a back. Like, I mean, please.
I don't get started,
I've actually always been good at not, I try not to be that dad. I try and help him constructively. You sit there and you see stuff and you say, you got to do it this, definitely not harping on them too hard, but, definitely say this, you got to try this, you got to be a little more here. And perfect example was one of the league games here last fall before it shut down. And Colton was doing this 2-foot jump shot and he's just going straight up. And I said, Colt, man, you're going to get crushed one of these days doing that. You're going to get hurt. Yeah. And sure heck, the next time he did it, and it was against, what's that really big pivot wiggle? What's Jingles. So he goes up against Jingles and does it. And he goes up and poor Jingles, he got actually red carded, and I don't think it was worthy. He just kind of comes out and gives him a little tap, and Colt lands right on his head. And that was, son, I told you. And he comes home, he looks at me, and he goes like, I know. So no,
I think I reffed that game. I remember.
Yeah, that. I think he did. Yeah, he took a hard hit.
Yeah,
we were watching. We were watching it all live on the computers, and I'm just like, oh, there it is. So just try our best. You got to, obviously between Zoran and myself, we got a pile of information and that, and anything you can do to help your kid out, you're going to do it. That's for sure.
How about you, Zo? How do you coach?
I don't.
No?
That's since Luca started playing other sports, I really enjoyed the fact that there's other coaches coaching him. because at the same time you have to be a parent, and you can't use your shots out there on the field because you have to use them at home in some capacity. When it comes to handball, I like what Kevin said about it before. It wasn't about like learning how to play, but respecting the game. I wish that regardless how good he is or not, that he's the hardest worker on the floor and practice or otherwise, but that comes with the age. Luka is still young. So I think that my place is not there yet to train him like he's like 25 years old and whatnot. So it's still a different type of environment when it comes to that age specifically. And I encourage him to ask the questions that tells me when he's ready to receive the information.
Yeah.
And if he's not, there's no point of talking. He's young man, and his sensitivity is like, he's developing now. And 5 minutes he's 16, 2 minutes he's 12. He's a big 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So for me, that's really the focus at this point in time. And as he's ready to receive the information, that's how we're going to proceed about this. I think that real momentum right now, getting into, hey, I want to be part of this, is coming before, okay, what are we going to actually do here? But you know what? He played in U19 and he's 12, and he didn't back away. So you can't coach that. Yeah. You are or you're not. And that's a good start in my books.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's actually what I like to hear. Because at that age, for sure, he doesn't want to be hearing, "Oh, you're not holding your elbow up. You're not doing this." He wants to love.
He can't hear it.
Yeah,
they're too young. You can't hear it. Don't want to hear it. It's totally a different ballgame.
Yeah. So, did you guys have anything you guys wanted to add? No, because I got one more question.
I've got one more question too before we.
All right, mine is really simple. So, Lindo, you go first.
Well, mine's pretty simple too. It goes back to like my generation guys like Bryn and Shaq and stuff. It seems like every time we get together, we could be wherever. Conversation always somehow ends up back in handball. Is it the same for you guys when you get together? Like as a club, you guys, you're going to whatever, some event, and then somehow remember this game, or you remember when we all watched Rich take that fast break and hit him in the face, and like something like that.
Absolutely, 100%. I can't remember ever. We'll talk about all kinds of other stuff. But sooner or later, it ends up with handball.
Yeah, that's true.
Even all our weddings, I think we're gonna get killed by our wives after this stuff. But yeah, there's the crew at the bar. It's not like drunk Irish people. That's like handball idiots talking handball out there.
Well, actually, the barbecue the other year at your place, just the men that came back out of the mist and joined us and barbecued and had beers, and wives and kids came. It was amazing. But then the boys migrated to the garage, and and everybody at the event knows. No, they're going to start reminiscing. They're going to start talking again. They know every minute of every game of every championship. It's who we are, and we don't. And you know what? The thing is, we don't apologize for it either. It is who we are.
That's super important, and we are absolutely not going to be able to name everybody who we would like to name here, but I will tell everybody that we do have our groups how to communicate. We did that annual event that was supposed to be annual. We're going to have that. It's not just a reunion. That's our group. That's our club. We will live it on any level that's available to us. So everybody should felt mention here without doing a roll call for it.
Yeah. Actually, now I have two questions. Noticing on the Facebook live chat, a lot of people are going FTR. What the heck does that mean?
Brad, I'm going to leave that one all to you.
Well, knowing this is now no longer a PG event, we talked about this last night when we just kind of prepped ourselves, and we spent a lot of years when we started playing getting our asses handed to us. We really did, and especially at above provincials and going to the nationals, and it probably added to our our stubbornness about not wanting to give it up and keep going, because when you finish in 8th place enough at nationals and you lose a lot of bronze medal games, you build up a little bit of a hardened skin, a hardened shell about, no, if we're going to get this, and it takes till I'm 35 before I see my first gold medal, it changes how you view the sport and how you're going to accomplish certain things. And FDR was probably developed over a couple of adult beverages, but it was also a little ode to our telling the planet that, you know what, we're not going away, and that once you meet a wanderer, you will not forget a wanderer. And I don't know if we can repeat what we would say over beers, but let's just say it's a subtle middle finger to the planet, if
Okay.
I can say that.
I could probably guess what the first word is. All right. So my last question was actually going to be if, like one for each of you, who's your favorite, other than you three, who's your favorite Wanderers teammate, or like favorite teammate memory for whatever reason, just something you can't get out of your head?
Wow, I'm going to have to think, but you should have thrown that one on the paper.
That one I came up with literally 10 minutes ago when I was thinking about all the Wanderers players.
Well, you know what? I'll say this for mine really quickly, because it always jumps to mind. Edwin Acevedo, an absolutely beautiful soul and a man and a real Wanderer. The fact that at his stature and his physical makeup, that he could kick the crossbar and make saves that, again, his advantage was he was always underestimated by shooters. And then he would just throw his leg up and kick the crossbar and go, and back to the statement he made to us when we were playing at a City of Champions tournament at McEwen in that monster 54-meter court. Yeah. Start playing some defenses, biatches, cuz yeah, and the personalities that were there, everybody shut up and played defense, and we got through that. So that is one easy, memorable one for me.
That's my most. Eddie, the same deal. I just love playing for that guy, and that when he told us to do that, I had so much respect for that guy. I'm going, yeah, you win. You're the top dog here. So mine is Eddie.
What about you, Zoe?
Okay, I kind of mentioned this to them yesterday. I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. And I'm going to do that because I came from different country, different continent. Absolutely had no concept of what I'm going to find here. And my first tournament was outdoors tournament. So how are we going to do this? I had no clue who these people are. I don't know who they are. We just moved to Canada, live in an apartment building. So this guy's going to come pick you up. So you have to understand, like, we're coming from the war. I'm coming from like absolute professional handball. Like, people are you have to beat people up like in a practice to make a team. You have to beat people up every day for a living. Like, it's pretty crazy kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, it's for sure not going to be like that, but you don't know, right? So this is the scene. And so from my perspective, it's like, so this guy comes pick. So Kev's supposed to come pick me up, right? So he's in this like pickup, okay? Rings the bell, says like, come out. He opens the tailgate, cracks the beer open, and we're going to the tournament. I'm like, okay, this is cool, man. This is going to be pretty good. So to me, that makeup of this is not going to be a life fight struggle with a whole bunch of people. They're going to now say, oh, we don't believe you. Who are you? Where'd you come from? That meant to me a lot, because it's not about acceptance. It's about the environment. I figured out this is going to be fun. And then we finished the tournament, and we went to, it was the Ellerslie rugby fields, and we rolled into their clubhouse, and their club was doing social after the whole weekend of like outdoor handball, whatever. And this is not about handball again, but then I've seen them, how they behave like a club, those rugby guys, and everybody's part of this, and it's a big thing, and it's a big community. And that was never happening like that in Europe. Lyndon, you played there in professionals and whatnot. Yes, maybe with your club and your people that cheer for you, but everybody together, shake hands, have beers and all that stuff. that's not how the rest of the world operates. So I felt pretty good as to like where I came. That's why I never left. And for me, the environment of playing handball in Canada was probably the best thing about it.
But just as a follow-up to that, if I can, that day was extremely memorable because it was raining. It was on the main rugby pitch at Ellerslie. And it was as if the planet stopped spinning for a second because Julius was holding court. And he was pointing out, you know, we got this new guy from overseas and he's going to play. And we're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then Zoe went left, right, hop, behind the head pass to the pivot, score. And there was silence. And everybody went, what the... And handball changed in Alberta that pass. Just saying.
It was a good catch too.
Yeah.
Well, the fact you weren't so shocked that you dropped it, Kev, you know that.
That was amazing. I don't know how many passes Zoran did to me off the first couple of years, bounced off my face.
Well, that was awesome, guys.
I was just saving myself, man. That's it.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much for this. That was actually really fun. I'm glad I got to hear all these stories. I hope to play you guys again, or I'm definitely going to see you around. We're going to be hanging out for sure. I'm going to be one of those. Me and Lyndon are going to be one of those forever Wanderers 2.0.
Awesome. We need more. We'd like to have more of you guys, and like to hopefully you guys stick with the sport. Lots of the guys, you know, we find it a little bit strange that they come, they win their stuff, and then they're done and they're gone. And you know, you can do both. This is a fun sport. You can play for a long time and have lots of fun. So
you meet a lot of friends. You have a lot of community.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, thank you very much for letting me be a part of this. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for coming on, guys.
This was really, really fun. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Guys, this is awesome, and keep doing it. Get everybody in. Now there's a platform to bring these people back in, even if they're not playing or doing something. We have tools. We need to use it.
Sneak peek, I might get Dan Devlin on in 2 weeks, and maybe some of the Danza guys, and we could hear some of their stories.
Awesome.
There you go.
That'd be Dr. Dan to you.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys around.
Hey, safe travels, Lyndon.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
good luck in Florida. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
Night.
Bye.